At this time, I'd like to call to order the January 2nd, 2024 reorganization meeting of the Sayreville Board of Education. In accordance with Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, this public reorganization meeting of the Sayreville Board of Education has been established by sending a copy of the public meeting notice to the Home News Tribune and the Star Ledger. In addition, copies of the announcement of this meeting have been sent to the Borough Clerk, and a copy of the notice of the meeting has been posted on the bulletin board outside of the office of the Secretary to the Board. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our first order of business is to announce the official results of the board election held on November 7th, 2023. For the three-year term candidates, Eloy Fernandez with 4,534 votes, Allison Napolitano with 5,080 votes, Eileen Pabon with 4,476 votes, and Matthew Lubeski with 3,235 votes. Our next order of business is the swearing in of our newly elected board members. This will be done in alphabetical order, beginning with Mr. Fernandez, then Mrs. Napolitano, and Mrs. Pabon at the podium.
Where is Caesar?
He was in the hall. He was in the
Can you
hall.
get away from the microphone?
Yeah, go ahead. I think it's usually left on
He didn't come in. He's sitting in the hallway.
the probably gonna say, oh my God, I'm the only one here.
I'll repeat it.
You want to repeat it? Sure. I will just put your left hand on, raise your right. Okay.
I, Eloy Fernandez,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same and to the governments established
and to the same and to the governments established
in the United States and
in
in
the
this
United States and in this state,
under the authority of the people, so help me God.
under the authority of the people, so help me God. I, Eloy Fernandez, do solemnly swear that I possess the qualifications prescribed by law for the office of member of Board of Education, and that I am not disqualified as a voter pursuant to RS 19:4-1, nor disqualified due to a conviction of a crime or offense listed in NJSA 18A: 12-1. I will faithfully and impartially and justly perform all the duties of that office according to the best of my abilities. So help me God.
2020 was easier. We just read off the paper. I read really fast.
Did they give us a paper?
Yeah, this was going to touch anything.
Both veterans now, no more bringing the families.
My family's here. My husband and daughter are here.
Can't
Yeah,
see anybody.
my daughter probably is at the high school wondering why the meeting isn't there. But Caesar's here.
I was at the high school at the door, like, and it was not set up like this. I'm like, maybe they're expecting it. I see people just keep it close to something. Yeah. Or I'm not in the right place.
You're not going to come over here? Okay, then.
Gabby was a girl last
This way.
She didn't
Yep.
start yet.
You can do that. I, Allison Napolitano, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, and I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the governments established in the United States and the state, on the authority of the people, so help me God. I, Allison Napolitano, do solemnly swear that I possess the qualifications prescribed by law for the office of member of a Board of Education, that I'm not disqualified as a voter pursuant to RS 19:4-1, nor disqualified due to a conviction of a crime or offense listed in NJSA 18A:12-1, and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of that office according to the best of my ability. So help me God.
Yeah. Yeah, considering she just left here. Not even 2 years ago. She wants to be a high school teacher, but to sub, but she should start in lower grade. Because you know what I mean?
Because she's putting this out here.
Yeah.
She put for South Amboy too.
Yeah?
I would.
Yeah, she could do.
And over. Sarah, South Amboy's smaller. I still got this down.
This is what I say.
I can hold it.
I won't be able to see it.
Okay, so I'll read it. Okay. Hold it and your left hand on it.
Yes, I am.
And raise your right. No, raise your
Oh.
Yep. And then I'll read it and then just repeat it.
Okay.
I,
I,
Eileen Pavone,
Eileen Pabone,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith
and I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the government established in the United States
and in this state,
under the authority of the people, so help me God.
under the authority of the people, so help me God.
I, Eileen Pabone, do solemnly swear
That I possess the qualifications
prescribed by law for the office of a member of a Board of Education,
and that I am not disqualified as a voter
and that I am not disqualified as a voter
pursuant to RS 19,
pursuant to RS 19:4-1,
or disqualified due to conviction of a crime or offense listed in NJSA 18A:12-1, and that I will faithfully and impartially and justly perform all the duties of that office according to the best of my abilities. So help me God.
Over here. Oh, I gotta sign it?
Thank you. Okay, our next order of business is the reading of the New Jersey School Board Association Code of Ethics for all school board members. I'm going to ask each board member in alphabetical order to read a portion, beginning with Mrs. Bloom.
A school board member shall abide by the following code of ethics for school board members. A, I will uphold and enforce all laws, rules, and regulations of the State Board of Education and court orders pertaining to schools. Desired changes shall be brought about only through legal and ethical procedures.
I will make decisions in terms of the educational welfare of children and will seek to develop and maintain public schools that meet the individual needs of all children, regardless of their ability, race, creed, sex, or social standing.
I will confine my board actions to policymaking, planning, and appraisal, and I will help to frame policies and plans only after the board has consulted those who will be affected by them.
I will carry out my responsibility not to administer the schools, but together with my fellow board members to see that they are well-run. I will recognize that authority rests with the Board of Education and will make no personal promises nor take any private action that may compromise the board.
I will refuse to surrender my independent judgment to special interests or partisan, if I said that correctly, political groups, or to use the schools for personal gain or for the gains of friends.
I will hold confidential all matters pertaining to the schools which, if disclosed, would needlessly injure individuals or the schools. In all other matters, I will provide accurate information and, in concert with my fellow board members, interpret to the staff the aspirations of the community for its school.
I will vote to appoint the best qualified personnel available after consideration of the recommendation of the Chief Administrative Officer.
I will support and protect school personnel in proper performance of their duties. I will refer all complaints to the Chief Administrative Officer and will act on the complaints at public meetings only after failure of an administrative solution.
Thank you. I will now take our roll call alphabetically. Mrs. Bloom?
Here.
Mr. Callahan?
Here.
Mr. Esposito? Mr. Fernandez?
Here.
Mrs. Napolitano?
Here.
Mrs. Pabon?
Here.
Ms. Pylock?
Here.
Mr. Smith?
Here.
And Mr. Walsh.
Here.
Okay. At this time, I will open up to the floor for nominations for President of the Board of Education.
I'd like to make a nomination for Lucy Bloom for the president.
Second.
Okay, are there any other nominations? Okay, seeing none, may I have a motion to close the nominations for President of the Board of Education?
So
I
moved.
close, so moved. Second.
Who was the second?
Eileen, I'll just do it.
I'll take a roll call to close nominations. Mrs. Bloom?
Yes.
Mr. Callahan?
Yes.
Mr. Fernandez?
Yes.
Mrs. Napolitano?
Yes.
Mrs. Pabon?
Yes.
Ms. Pylock?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
And Mr. Walsh?
Yes.
Okay, I'll now take a roll call vote to affirm Mrs. Bloom as the President of the Board of Education. Mrs. Bloom?
Yes.
Mr. Callahan?
Yes.
Mr. Fernandez?
Yes.
Mrs. Napolitano?
Yes.
Mrs. Pabon?
Yes.
Ms. Pylock?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
And Mr. Walsh?
Yes.
Okay, congratulations, Mrs. Bloom.
You have to count this.
Thank you, I think.
Get back over here.
Yeah, run away, Aaron, run away.
Come back.
Well, you're moving me over.
Yep, moving you over.
Moving me over. Oh, my junk. My little name tag.
Oh, yeah?
Okay. We will now open for nominations for vice president.
I make a nomination for Allison Napolitano for vice president.
Second.
Any other nominations?
I nominate Danielle Pylock for vice president.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
I believe we need a motion to close nominations. Any other nominations for vice president? No? Okay. Made a motion to close nominations for vice
So
president?
moved.
Second.
Okay.
Give someone else a chance.
Roll call to close.
How do you do the first?
Mrs. Bloom?
Oh, don't I go last?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I have this in alphabetical order still. I can go last, that's fine. Mr. Callahan, to just close nominations.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Mr. Fernandez?
Yes.
Mrs. Napolitano?
Yes.
Mrs. Pabon?
Yes.
Ms. Pylock?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Walsh?
Yes.
And Mrs. Bloom.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Now we will need a roll call vote.
Right, so just say the last name of the person that you're
Okay.
voting for. Mr. Callahan?
They're both excellent, so please, ladies,
Oh,
I'm going to go with Danielle. Pylock, sorry.
Okay.
Just fine.
Mr. Fernandez?
Napolitano.
Mrs. Napolitano?
Napolitano.
Mrs. Pabon?
Napolitano.
Ms. Pylock?
Pilak.
Mr. Smith?
I'll also say that this is a tough decision because both are super qualified. I'm going to say Ms. Napolitano.
Okay, Mr. Walsh?
Pylock.
And Mrs. Bloom.
Napolitano.
Okay. Do you want me to do a roll call vote to affirm Mrs. Napolitano as vice, or I'm sorry, Mrs. Napolitano as vice president?
That's the procedure,
Okay.
please do.
I'm sorry, Mr. Callahan?
Yes.
Mr. Fernandez?
Yes.
Mrs. Napolitano?
Yes.
Mrs. Pabon?
Yes.
Ms. Pylock?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Walsh?
Yes.
And Mrs. Bloom?
Yes.
Okay.
And now we move on to the reorganization agenda. Dr. Lavin?
Yep.
Are there any questions on the reorganization agenda or any comments? So we just need a motion to approve.
Okay. We
So
get a
moved.
motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you.
Mr. Callahan?
Yes.
Mr. Fernandez?
Yes.
Mrs. Napolitano?
Yes.
Mrs. Pabon?
Yes.
Ms. Pylock?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Walsh?
Yes.
Mrs. Bloom?
Yes. Okay. And now I need a motion to go into executive session.
Allison, take that.
So moved.
Oh, I guess.
Second.
Oh, public participation?
Sorry,
Reorg?
Oh,
Oh, do we miss something?
Okay.
What are we doing?
Okay. I'm sorry.
oh, should
We
have
will
that
now
before we
open
voted?
to public participation for anything on the reorganization agenda only. Okay, seeing none?
No, hang on.
I think we have
There's
one.
One?
Or no?
Oh, that was
No,
goodbye.
That was goodbye.
I thought that was it.
Oh, no, I'm waving to my daughter.
I thought Caesar was going
Love
to say
you.
something.
Okay. Now we need a motion to go into executive session, please. We did that already.
Second.
Okay.
I'm seconding all night long.
We'll get this right. It's okay.
All right, whereas Section 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances. And whereas this public body is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Education of the Borough of Sayreville, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey as follows. The public shall be excluded from discussion of and action upon the hereinafter specified subject matters. The general nature of the subject matter to be discussed is as follows. Personnel, including but not limited to agenda items and matters falling under attorney-client privilege. It is anticipated at this time that the above stated subject matter shall be made public at such times the need for non-disclosure no longer exists. This resolution shall take effect immediately. Mr. Callahan?
Yes.
Mr. Fernandez?
Yes.
Mrs. Napolitano?
Yes.
Mrs. Pabon?
Yes.
Ms. Pylock?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Walsh?
Yes.
And Mrs. Bloom?
Yes. Okay. We can move into executive session.
Yep.